Emrah, it's great to finally catch up with you. We heard a lot about you from the whole team at UN Habitat, but there's probably a lot of people watching that has no real idea what it is that you guys do within water preservation, and there is a very long term for your organisation, but if you could go into a bit more detail about what it is that you do, that would be great.
Yeah, and thanks a lot. So my name is Emrah Engindeniz. I'm a Program Management Officer with the Global Water Operator Partnership Alliances. We will be calling GWOPA. This is a program hosted by UN Habitat, and we were established based on the recommendation of UN Secretary General on water and sanitation back in 2006. And the idea was to develop a mechanism to improve access to water and sanitation. And it was like initially established as a mechanism to deliver MDGs, Millennium Development Goal. Yeah. But in 2009, we were established in Nairobi. We were hosted in Nairobi by UN Habitat. We are essentially UN Habitat Global Program. And then since then, we've been operating and trying to develop partnership, water and sanitation operator partnership to improve access to services for all. So it's really focusing on improving the capacity of the water and sanitation operators, so that as their capacity improves, they perform better, and they are able to sort of be more climate resilient institutions and a sustainable institution that can actually deal with the water issues in a day-to-day basis, and they are able to extend services to those who are left behind, so they're living in the slums and informal settlements. So that's our basically the mandate.
I mean, it's fascinating really, because water is a commodity almost across the globe, but one that we somewhat take for granted, particularly in the West. You know, it's there within the turn of a tap, but there's a lot of places globally where this just isn't an option. So obviously the work that you're doing has huge impact. And we're here at COP28, a global gathering of some of the biggest leaders and minds within sustainable development across the globe. But you as an individual particularly, what's the impact that you're looking to create here at COP? What is it you're looking to do?
Yeah, and of course this is a great question. So we are all working, and we should be working towards to delivering SDGs and be able to actually address some of these climate crisis issues. And water, of course, is in the center of the climate adaptation. Without water, we can't think about and talk about the climate change and climate adaptation. Of course, it's also equally on the climate mitigations. As UN Habitat program, we are core partner of the Water Pavilion. And Water Pavilion started in Glasgow COP, and it's since 3 years, it's now been part of the institutionalized the thematic discussion in the COP process. So we are core partner there, and this year we partner with Water Europe and Rio de Janeiro state of Brazil, and we designed a whole day program on locally led adaptation in Water Pavilion, which was like 5th December. So what we are trying to communicate and do is that the water and sanitation service provider are in forefront of the climate crisis, because they need to deal with the water issues by both basically making sure that we all have a drinking water, but also making sure whatever the wastewater comes out, and it has to be treated and has to be dealt with, so that we don't contaminate the ecosystem. So we help to restore the wetlands and all those things. So the utility plays really critical role as a local service provider. And that's what we want to really communicate and make sure that this is really understood, and there's a good stock take on that issues.
There's been a lot of talk at COP28, but impact is the talk of the town at the moment. And what I want to know is what is going to happen if we don't focus on water.
So, I mean, I have something in mind to kind of like analogy I actually want to make it. Like, do you know, in some cases how they kill the frog into the hot water?
Right.
They put the frog in the water, and then they gradually increase the temperature. So water heats up, and frog doesn't know that he's going to die or she's going to die. So, and at some point, the water gets boiled, and the frog dies. Mm-hmm. They never notice when they're going to die. So I feel like we are saying, because as the temperature increases, if we get like a 2-degree increase or over 3-degree increases, the ocean, all the water ecosystem will actually boil. Mm. So we will find ourselves in the middle of like basically island, and it's like a hot pot in the middle of hot pot that we cannot survive. So it's really water in the center, and we need to make this as kind of like crisis, and I think the leadership hasn't really understood the urgency of crisis, and hasn't really made all of us that this is really urgent. Otherwise we can't survive, because anything you do, the ecosystem restoration, nature-based solutions, energy, anything you can think about in the climate change discussion is related to the water.